Hi, I'm Kandi Hollenbach. I work here at the museum and I study Paleoethnobotany, which means that I look at how people used plants in the past at archaeological sites. Now, when we find plants from archaeological sites, they have to be burned. If they aren't burned, then microorganisms and bacteria and earthworms and other critters will eat them up. But if they're burned, they don't taste good, nobody eats them. So, we do not find beans very often at archaeological sites, but when we do, they're burned like these ones here, and they still keep their shape, just like the modern ones that you guys have in your packets. So they're really fun to find. But we don't find them often because people are mostly eating beans. They're not accidentally throwing them into the fire, so we don't find them very often. So when I do see them, I get really excited. Beans are also really interesting because they can tell us about how people interacted with each other in the past, who they traveled to go visit, what kinds of foods they brought to share with the people they were visiting. So it's really interesting to see that. So beans were domesticated around 5,000 years ago, maybe even earlier, down in Mesoamerica and down in South America. And people didn't bring them up into North America until around 2,000 years ago, and they make their way up to the southwest, somewhere around Arizona in that area. And then eventually people brought them up all the way up to the Great Lakes region in eastern North America around 1,000 years ago, and then down to Tennessee finally around 700 years ago. So it took a while for them to get all the way up and over and down into Tennessee. Now, that's not the straightest route from Mexico to Tennessee to go all the way up to the Great Lakes. It would have been much faster for them to walk across the central part of the United States. But that route then tells us about how people were interacting with each other, who they were going to visit and see on their way to come down to Tennessee. So, good luck with your experiments. Hopefully you can share some of your beans with your friends and neighbors too, and let us know how it goes.